June 14th, 2019, I was in Vancouver. I stumbled across a few skateboarders, and one of them was the great Arno Botha. He filmed me skateboarding, and then after that, we became friends. I'm so happy to do this interview with him and find out his thoughts, ideas, and how he got into the world of skateboarding. So sit back and enjoy the interview. All right, got Arno Botha. Botha?
Yeah. Botha works, yeah.
All
It's
right,
Botha, but yeah.
Botha.
Yeah. How's it
All
going,
right,
brother?
that's
You got the good name though, Chris Hercules. My man.
Man, this is a pleasure to have you with me today, man. I was like I said, I was hoping to sit across from you with a beer in my hand, but it's
Yeah, fuck it. Hopefully this summer, get it going.
I'm
Get
hoping
get
so, man.
some good weather going. Couple loggers.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, yeah. So I met you skateboarding in Vancouver. That was totally unexpected, and it's still one of
Yeah,
the
what was that? 2018 or was it 19?
19 June 2019.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's the cool thing about skateboarding is, you can just meet somebody on the street and, connect right away. And, next thing you know, you're doing a fucking Zoom chat.
For real.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Life's interesting, isn't it?
Oh, totally interesting, man. Totally. That was one of the highlights of my trip, man. It was a huge highlight for me because I never expected to be doing that, and yeah,
Yeah, man, that's so cool. I
that
love that.
that was super cool, man. So yeah, I just wanted to get your experience in skateboarding. Like how did you start? What inspired you to start?
Uh, I don't know. I guess I was just another kid out there, looking for something to occupy my time, and everybody kind of has their home story and whatnot, and how they grew up, and you know, um, I don't know. My mom, I guess, was a bit of an alcoholic growing up, so I kind of used skateboarding as an outlet. And when I was like 10 or 11, I guess I saw some friends skateboarding down the street or whatever, and I kind of wanted to get in on that. So I had a little banana board that one of the buddies let me borrow. So for a while, I was using the banana board, and then I finally got my first skateboard, and it's just like love at first sight. Like go to school and then you're just waiting for that moment to walk home and see your board in the window, and it's like, let's go.
Yeah. Totally. I totally know how that feels, man. I had so many decks, um, and when you're skating constantly, you're always breaking decks.
The
Like
shoes, decks, you're scraping yourself up, all that good stuff.
yeah, man. I went through that a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, especially when you start getting that growth spurt, and you're getting a little heavier, and things are kind of a little more loose because you're not exactly the same weight that you were the previous year or whatever, around 14 or 15 kind of.
Oh, totally, man.
Because
Man.
you said because I watched your skate video, the I Love Skateboarding, and you said you started at 11 years old as well, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. I thought that was cool.
yeah. Man, when I first started, my mother gave me I got I got a board from like Zellers, one of those, just regular skateboards. And when I got it, we used to just skate on our knees.
Yeah,
All the
cruise
kids
around and
around, we
stuff.
used to just skate on our knees. And then finally, started standing up, and then you see guys, that were ripping harder and doing like 180s and just carving. You're like, oh man, I want to try that. And then
Yeah, seeing what's possible and wondering if you could do it too.
oh, totally. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh man, so you can do that with a skateboard? Okay, cool. I want to try that.
It's pretty interesting to think though, because like when you were growing up, it's like, okay, they're doing 180s and shove its and maybe a couple kick flips and stuff. But nowadays, like even when I grew up, they're doing some pretty crazy stuff. But nowadays, if you're a youngster, growing up, you see so much more happening. So I think what you think is possible is you kind of I don't know, your building blocks are different. So you're actually have more access to tricks and things that you can do on a skateboard. Whereas like you and I, we wouldn't have known that certain things are possible. But now you got youngsters that are just freaking incredible. But it's, it's interesting to think about why,
Yeah, yeah, of course, man, because like you said, what we were exposed to, we thought that, this is what we can do. And then you see the whole, like now, what do you see what kids doing now? I seen this video. I can't remember this guy's name. This kid's like he's 14 years old, and he's from Brazil, and he's ripping so hard, and you're like, yeah, because the level of what it is right now, you know.
Yeah, if you can see it, you can achieve it,
Exactly, exactly. You know,
It's pretty wild.
when I was coming up, I remember saying to a friend in 1994, I said to my buddy, or maybe, no, I think it was maybe 92, I said to somebody, I said, man, you know what I thought about? I thought about kick flipping a vert and then grabbing it and then just turning 540. And he was like, nah, man, that's not even possible. I'm like, no, but if you think about it, you kick flip and then you tuck, you grab and indie grab and then you spin. And he was like, nah. And then when Hawk did it, he was like, oh my God. I was like, dude, I told you. I just didn't do it. I wish I did it.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? That's crazy.
I wish I did it, but yeah,
Show them what's possible in your face. See, I told you it was possible.
yeah, exactly.
But
Man.
it only takes one person to, step over that boundary.
Yep, totally, totally. And there's so many people that have stepped over so many boundaries that, and like I was reading an interview and where Tony Hawk was talking about Tony Hawk Pro Skater and how the game and how that changed, the ways people think of skating totally. Because, you just combine tricks one after the one after, so many after another. And,
And yeah, you can almost, learn from that too. Just
mhm,
seeing it and, kind of visualizing certain things that you want to try on your actual board from a video game, which is pretty
yeah,
cool.
totally out of this world, man. But have you ever competed? Have you ever competed in skateboarding?
Not really. Like when I was younger, like little things like the Lord of the Lines and just like local competition and whatnot. But I don't know. I'm not like I'm not really huge on competing against other people. It's more
Hmm.
about competing against self.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And what was life like growing up in Vancouver skating? Did you grow up in Vancouver, first of all? I'm not too sure where you grew up.
I grew up in Grand Prairie, Alberta, but I
Okay,
moved to Vancouver when I was 21, and then I
okay.
was there for about 9 years. But yeah, growing up in Grand Prairie was pretty cool because I kind of got my first board and then started hanging around the local skate shop, Dark Flavor,
Hmm.
and basically I worked there for 7 years and kind of just got to know everybody and I don't know, got to kind of feel the vibe of Vancouver because John, the owner of Dark Flavor, he was best friends growing up with Lee Matassi, and so I met Lee when I was quite a bit younger, and then he was kind of a role model to me, and then in 2003 he was murdered,
Oh,
and
wow.
so yeah, so then we ended up doing trips and stuff to Vancouver. And yeah, I don't know. Since then, it's just like when I got there and just being at Plaza and the sun and the mountains and everything, I was like, damn, I'm home. So that was the first encounter with Vancouver. And then yeah, in 2011, I moved out there,
Hmm.
and man, it was pretty crazy. It's completely different, being
Yeah.
able to skate around and hit different spots, and you're not like confined to your vehicle and to the couple skate parks you got in your area. So that was pretty cool.
from the truth you can never really hide. Bounty on my head like I'm wanted, dead or alive. Oh, she was the first, but I knew she wouldn't be the last. I was hanging on, she wasn't moving on as fast. I knew your love was mine long before your love was given. Caught you at a time when our feelings were still forbidden. Things that it still couldn't be forgiven. If she did the same, then believe me, good riddance. Oh, these habits are hard to break. Time is so hard to take. I know we all make mistakes, but if you look a little closer you can see through a fake. I knew I couldn't leave without a rhyme or a reason, but our lives were getting farther than the city between them. People separate, it's just the time of the season, or is there something more? I guess we'll never know, and I don't know why. There's birds up in the sky when I'm right down here with you. And if I could fly, I'd take you by the hand and I'd show you all there is to see. Well, I can tell by the way.
Growing up in Grand Prairie, Alberta,
Yeah.
did you guys ever get kicked out of spots as well? I mean, I know that's universal.
Yeah, I mean, not as much really, because it was like what we were skating wasn't really spots at the time so much. Like, you know, little curb bandy pads, or like playing skate on a curb, or going to the skate park. And I don't know. I guess security is always a bit of a thing, but not from what I remember so much, I guess.
Yeah. And what was something that like skateboarding taught you? I
Oh
mean,
man.
besides how to fall and get back up 1,000 times.
Yeah, man. Perseverance for sure. I guess people skills, just being able to talk to random people and, you know, relate to, you know, security guards just doing their jobs, or, you know, being, well, one thing I think is pretty important is being able to talk with police officers and stuff and relate with them. And, you know, I think a lot of people now, if you see a police officer, you're kind of standoffish. If you haven't talked to them before, you never know really what you're going to get. But as a skateboarder, you've dealt with them so often that you kind of know that they're just people too. And I don't know, they're probably just as scared as a lot of the people that are dealing with them. So I don't know, that's a pretty valuable lesson, I guess.
And that's interesting that you say that, because I mean, I'm you know, I'm skating for so long, and some guys, they just look at, you know, security guards or police and just you know, totally get scared and don't want to talk with them ever. You know.
Yeah, they don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation, you know.
Yeah. Or as soon as
No, it's interesting though, because you can either be a part of that uncomfortable conversation, or you can, you know, kind of take reins and make the conversation more enjoyable by, you know, actually having the conversation and talking with them, you know, rather than being standoffish and kind of trying to get away as fast as you can.
Because, you know, it was like, security, run! That's, you know.
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed since like the 80s and 90s, you know, having security or, you know, police officers, well, maybe not so much in Canada as much, but like having to run from the cops and, you know, having to worry about getting fines and stuff when there's big groups and stuff like that. But we're lucky enough that it's, you know, it's kind of normalized now to be out and about skateboarding with your friends.
Yeah. Man. Who are some of your top favorite skaters coming up?
I knew you were gonna ask this question. It's so hard, man. Because it's every day there's someone new, you know? There's so many amazing skateboarders. Coming up?
Yeah, when you're coming up, man. Like,
well, when I was coming up?
yeah,
like growing up?
coming up, yeah.
Oh, man.
You don't have to go through like 10. Give me like your top 5.
Yeah, no, for sure. I liked all the DC gang. We would watch Mosaic all the time. Appleyard, obviously, Flip Sorry and whatnot. Like that's, yeah, you can't top that. And then getting a bit older, like Wade DeZarmo and all the Top Dollar stuff, and Spencer Hamilton coming up. there's just so many heads, you know, and it depends on the era, I guess. And now it's like K-Tour, and there's so many different youngsters coming up, but it's definitely interesting. You know, it's not a lack of skateboarding going on. But yeah, favorite, I don't know. Probably Kalis growing up, maybe winning. There's so many, you know. It's Danny Garcia. I don't know, man. Like, there's so many phenomenal skateboarders. Janoski. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Damn. So I know that you're a really, really good street skater, but you also skate vert. Do you skate vert or just mini ramp?
I can skate mini ramp. I actually had a mini ramp we built in my backyard growing up, which took up most of my backyard, which was pretty fun. But I guess it's just a bit harder to find that stuff in the city. So I like to skateboard in the streets. You know, that's what I grew up watching. So it's just like, get out there and grind it out. And it's fun lurking around with your friends. And like I said, you know, you have conversations with people you would have never met if you weren't in the streets. So like, if I wasn't skating at Terry Fox that one day, we wouldn't have met. So
yeah, exactly.
And you wouldn't have been playing the flute on my my birthday messages.
Yeah, that was funny. I was surprised that was your sister, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Amazing.
I was surprised she reached out to me, man. I was really surprised when she reached out to me. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, cool. I got something for him. So
yeah, that was badass, man. That's awesome.
Damn. Did you ever have the urge or the desire, since it was, I mean, you had the mini ramp, but did you ever feel like within, like, man, I really want to get into vert, but you just couldn't because it wasn't accessible?
The thing is, so when I first got my ramp, because we would always, prior to the ramp, we had just a normal box out front. So we, you know, started learning how to do different grinds and, you know, crooks and 5-0s and all this stuff. And then we kind of got to the point where we're like, oh, let's build a ramp. And then the guys at Dark Flavor, they're like, no, you can't just, because we were going to build this crappy little ramp in the front of the driveway. So they ended up convincing my mom, oh no, if we are going to build a ramp, we got to build a real ramp. So it took up my whole backyard. And so I was obsessed for like 2 or 3 weeks straight, just skating the ramp, trying to get all these new tricks every day. Oh, I learned this trick and this trick and this trick and whatever. But then when it came down to the time where we're like, oh, you know, we've been skating a lot of ramp, let's skate the box. And then you get on the board in the street and you're like, what the hell? Like, it's a completely foreign feeling because you've been going up and down and, you know, pumping back and forth, but you're using different muscles. So then when you're actually going to try and pop on the street and skate street, then it was, you know, a completely different feel.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know if that was answering your question so much, but.
No. I mean, you're just giving me your experience on how it was. You know, I guess you never really progressed and said, man, I want to drop in on a 7-foot or an 8-foot or a 10-foot.
I mean, I've skated. It's all about skating what's around you. You know, if your friend wants to go skate a vert ramp and it's, you know, at the top of a mountain and you're drinking beers and having a fire or whatever, you know, you're going to probably go just to experience that time and, you know, maybe just drop in on the vert ramp a couple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Derek Swaim took me to a vert ramp on the top of a mountain where we were having beers and a fire. That's why I brought that up. But that was pretty cool. They have a big dome over it.
Mm-hmm.
They can, yeah, it's you have to pad up because it's like, I think it's 12 or 15 feet of vert.
Yeah.
Well, not of vert, but it's a vert ramp. I don't know how big the vert on the ramp is. Probably 4 feet or something, but it's pretty intense.
Oh, for sure, man. Jeez, it's always I remember dropping in on like I think it was like a 12-foot or something, man, from the end. I literally sat there for like an hour or almost like 2 hours, just like thinking.
Trying to push yourself to do it, eh?
Yeah, and then I finally dropped in, and my arm, I felt like when I landed, and the impact, I thought my elbow was gonna shoot out the back of my arm. I thought it was just gonna rip out. I was like, you know what? I think I'm not gonna do this anymore.
Yeah, I feel that. That's like the first time I tried to ollie a 10 stair. I remember because there's a bunch of people around, and I was like, I gotta go for this because I just, I didn't want to be that little kid that was scared to ollie down the 10. And I remember hitting the ground like a sack of hammers, just and after that, I'm like, hucking, I don't think so much for me.
But the other thing is, I also think it's who you're skating with that day. I remember doing Mississauga. There's a city hall there, and I think it's about 10 step or a little bit bigger. And I never ever thought about doing it, but I was skating with these guys who were better than me, and so I decided to try it, and I tried it and landed and rolled out and landed and rolled out and dude, I land and then the board just get away from me, and those guys are like, come on man, you got it. And I tried it so many times, but that, the crazy thing was, because of the energy that was around me that day, because those guys are with me that day, I tried it so many times, but it was only that day. It was like,
yeah, just that motivation, that spur of the moment hype up.
yeah,
It's pretty interesting because that's all skateboarding is. If you can't be around people that kind of push you to do stuff, then it's, you're always going to be in your comfort zone unless you're one of those people that kind of always push to the next level. But
yeah,
easier said than done.
And I was glad that you pushed me that day, because I was, man, I did it a few times, and you were like, nah man, you got to make this happen. And I was like, oh, I don't know man, I don't want to take up your too much time with your board. I'm a stranger to you. And you're like, nah, keep going. And I really appreciated that shit, man. When I landed, I felt like $1 million.
You start and you're getting close, and then you're like, start to have these little doubts, not even about the trick so much, but you think about your surrounding, like, oh, I'm taking up too much time, or oh, I'm kind of getting tired, or like, but you got to just focus on and keep going, and and then all of a sudden you're rolling away, and you're almost in disbelief sometimes, and you're, oh, I did it. Like,
oh man, all the time. Disbelief all the time. It's just, and and I love it when, from an outsider's point of view. 'Cause I remember being in New York City in Times Square, and some guy running up on me, and he was like, "Yo, man, so are you professional?" And I was like, "No, man. I just, I can only do a few little things." And he's like, "Nah, B, you're professional."
Yeah, there's some characters out in the streets, man. Oh, I lost you here 1 second. I can't see you.
Okay.
All right, we're back.
All right, cool. So, like, besides skateboarding, do you have any other creative outlets?
I like to, I don't know, work out, I guess, go for runs. I like to read a bit, paint a little bit, drink a little bit.
Hey, man, everybody likes
a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, just relax with friends and just bullshit and have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pretty easy guy. Me and my dad climbed a couple mountains together, which is pretty cool. I like adventure stuff, so pretty fun stuff.
Cool, man. Jeez. So when you say you paint a little bit, like, have you got any? Do you really get deep into painting?
A little bit. I'm not the best painter, but you can only try.
Yeah.
Hopefully come out with something that looks kind of cool. I wish I had something on hand, but I don't.
No, it's okay. It's all good. And how do you feel about the skateboarding being in the Olympics?
I think it'll be good for skateboarding as a whole. Like, I mean, it's already at that level where it's, like I said, it's so next level, but it's, the next step is the Olympics.
Mm-hmm,
but I think it'll be good for the the skateboard industry. You know, like I don't think it's such a household thing, skateboarding, or it's frowned upon a little bit. So maybe parents aren't really like trying to get their kids involved because they're have kind of like a lack of information and kind of look at it as like a bad thing. But I think the Olympics might, you know, kind of open it up to a lot more people and kind of open people's minds about it, which I think is really good. But yeah, I don't know. I can't complain about it.
Yeah, that's,
But
it's good just to hear your thoughts and view, because I've heard, from a lot of top skaters who are the good and bad. Some people are just like, no, we should just keep our thing the way it is. And
hey, man, if you're not growing, you're dying. So I mean, skateboarding's got to keep growing.
yeah, most definitely, most definitely. I totally hear that.
I think it'd be good to like open up opportunity for different endorsements for skateboarders, and I don't know, to have like a platform like the Olympics. It's, you know, it kind of gives kids a dream as well, you know, like, oh, I want to skate in the Olympics, or, you know, because it's always been, you know, I want to be a professional skateboarder, something else to shoot for, like, oh, I want to compete in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I think it's good. I think like everything, too much of anything is kind of a bad thing. So are you there?
Yeah. I think we were fading
Sorry,
out
my
there.
internet's doing some weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a second. Yeah, I think it's good, but
Cool. What's one of your like greatest moments in skateboarding, man? I mean, you got so many, but
greatest moments. Oh man, just pushing around with my friends, you know, like just adventuring around. I guess Barcelona in 2012 was pretty cool. We had 17 of us out there, and we had 3
yeah,
apartments. That was badass, man. That was pretty cool. I've always dreamt about going there, so having the opportunity to go out there was, you know, amazing, because every different block, you know, there's different spots, or you see it, iconic spots, and you're just always just like on the go, and people are jogging, and man, it's a pretty cool place. But yeah, every day kind of skating with the friends has a different moment and different opportunities and different people to meet. So I don't know, every day is kind of a blessing.
and being and skating in Barcelona, what inspired that trip? You guys just said somebody came together, said, guys, man, let's go to Barcelona. And did you hook up with skaters before you guys went to Barcelona? So they showed you around and told you where the spots were?
Well, so Jeff Dermer, he's been going to Barcelona for over a decade, easily almost 2 decades, I guess. And yeah, him and the Kitsch guys would go out there quite often, and they still go out there. And I believe it was a color issue that we were doing, or color interview kind of thing, or like a spread, I guess, for Color magazine. But yeah, I don't know. They just kind of got a crew going together, and then people were jumping on, and we just ended up with a ton of people. So I kind of was just along for the ride, but yeah, it was a good time, man.
Nice.
Yeah, it was all pre-planned. So I mean, you met people on the trip that you didn't quite know, but by the end of the trip, because we were there for a month, it's like everybody's like your boy at that point, because you've gone through different experiences together. So that's pretty cool.
A month. That's a long time, man. That's real sweet.
Yeah, it's long enough to either make people your best friends or your worst enemy, you know?
Yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. What's I said one of your greatest. That sounds like an amazing trip. What was like one of the like baddest moments, like
Worst moments on the trip, or just in skateboarding in
oh,
general?
in skateboarding.
It's hard to say. It just really depends on how you look at things, I guess. But one of the worst moments, I guess, was breaking my ankle at the plaza, and I broke my tibia, and my ankle was just kind of flopping there. So that was, I had to get surgery. I had to get 4 screws and a plate and whatnot in my ankle. But, you know, that's a sucky moment. But what comes after that crappy moment is what really matters, because, you know, I kind of took a look at myself and why did I break my ankle, and, you know, deeper issues, because I was, you know, working in the bars and, you know, kind of getting a bit of an ego, I guess. And just like, I don't know, I guess I got caught up and then I broke my ankle, and then that kind of made me look into myself. So I can't really look at it as a negative, you know, it's more positive because I kind of found things out about myself and got to know myself a little better. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
that you know, that's what you're saying is what, like, same thing that happened to me when I broke my leg in 2017, and I felt, man, well, am I going to be able to walk again? Am I going to be able to skate again? You know, being down, really, when you're down and out, you feel, you're like, man, okay, I gotta make some changes, or I got, you know, wait, life is short. This might be the end, or, you know, I started feeling a whole bunch of stuff, and that's what really inspired my trip to Japan the next year. Can you hear me? Well, what's going on there? We broke up. Did you hear that?
Yeah, we're breaking up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I think we're okay though. You just sound like a robot for a second, but
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but
yeah. No,
sorry.
I was just saying that when I broke my leg, that really inspired me to make that trip to Japan after the year after, because I said, you know what, life is short. I gotta, you know, make some
Live it up
changes.
while you got it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Live it up while you got it. That's
One
totally what it
one
was.
thing that I thought about when I broke my ankle, which was kind of a interesting thing, was you know, if I was, you know, 50 years earlier, 100 years earlier or whatever, you know, people didn't have, you know, the luxury of just getting a surgery and, you know, everything's all fine and dandy. Like a lot of the times people would have to, you know, keep moving forward with their injuries. You know, it doesn't matter if your ankle's half fallen off, you got to keep trekking through. So I was pretty lucky to be able to get a surgery, you know, versus like back in the day when people would just maybe even die just from a simple ankle break, you know.
Oh, totally, totally. Yeah, man. Um, I also thought to myself when I broke my leg, and I was, you know, I was able to take some time off of work. I was like, man, this is the best time to break my leg, because you know, 'cause before, like, if I did it a few, like, you know, when I was younger, I didn't have a job, and there wasn't no regular, you know, income coming in. So I was like, this is probably the best time to do it. Jeez. Um,
Hey man, everything happens for a reason, right?
yeah,
Just
totally. So I gotta ask, are you sponsored, or were you ever sponsored before?
uh well, I grew up skating for Dark Flavor, and
Oh, you grew up skating for
that
Dark
was like
Flavor?
a family to me. You know, I always got Dark Flavor true to me, my chest, Dark Flavor DF. Um, I currently been riding for Menu Skate Shop. Um, I've just gotten like a little bit of stuff over the years, just from like the friend hookup kind of thing, and like distributions kind of flowing me stuff and whatnot. But yeah, at the moment it's just Menu, just doing my thing, you know. It's, I don't know, I'm not the guy that's gonna, I don't really try to push myself on other people and send out sponsor me tapes and this and that. I've just kind of been doing my own thing, just lurking in the streets,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. But I mean,
Uh,
you could send some stuff and, you know, take it to the next level, because
yeah, for
you
sure.
have,
I mean, I got a lot of footage kind of backed up and stuff now, so maybe now's a better time. But you know, it's hard now. You know, there's so many youngsters that are, you know, killing it, and I'm getting older. So, but I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw some of your pics in Instagram. It says that you were skating in San Jose, California. Is that correct, or?
Yeah, we did a little skate trip there. I think it was 2018, but that was phenomenal, man. San Jose is a really cool little town, little city. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's kind of like Vancouver in the sense that it's just kind of small and pedestrian, you know, can kind of cruise around and get everywhere just on the boards, which is pretty fun.
And you only went to San Jose or a few other spots?
Yeah, we just went just because like it was like kind of just springish,
Hmm.
so we wanted to get out of the city and kind of get the legs going before summer came around. And you know, just hanging out for the winter and skating undergrounds can get a little redundant. So a couple of the friends, you know, they wanted to plan a trip, and that
Yeah.
was the time that it worked. And man, it was a good time.
Cool, cool, cool. What would you say to someone who wanted to, get into skateboarding?
Get it, do it.
Get
Just
it?
be prepared, you know, and you know, you can't just give up after you fall a couple times because you're gonna have to get used to that, you know,
Cool, cool,
because
cool.
that's comes hand in hand. I don't know. It's yeah, it depends on the person, really. You know, if you want an outlet that's gonna, you know, drive you to become better and better, and you know, just you want to work on your personal skills, or you know, I don't know. Skateboarding's good for so many different reasons. I don't know. I think people should just yeah give it a try. I don't know.
Cool, cool. I mean, it's interesting you say personal skills because you go to so many parks. I've been to so many places, and sometimes, you try to talk to somebody, and they, sometimes a dude or a female, they're just in their zone, and but sometimes I find some skaters, hard to talk to at times.
Yeah, for sure. They're in their own zone, you know, and
Yeah, yeah.
maybe that's something with them where they're just in their head, or you know, maybe they're they're a bit of an ego is kind of in there, and they're trying to just rip it up. And you there?
Yeah, hold up, hold up. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all good. We're getting a little bit dicey here.
Yeah, we're gonna we're almost coming to the end, so that's but yeah, so I was saying that yeah, sometimes it's hard to communicate with other skaters, and sometimes it's like, hey man, what's up? And it's like, I don't know you, don't talk to me, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But then that's also, you know, it gives you another skill to work on, and it's just not taking things personally, you know, because at the end of the day, like I said, you know, skateboarding is a huge outlet, so you never know what the other person's going through. You know, he might not be talking to you because he's ready, you know, dealing with stuff at home, and this is his little bit of a window to get out and kind of just take it out on the board. So I think it's good for people not to take things too personally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's interesting you say that. 'Cause I remember when I went through some, like I said, some bad times, and I would just wanted to skate, 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 and I couldn't talk to anybody because my whole focus, I was just letting out all the hurt and pain on that board, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
You have to though. Like, I mean, life's tough. You need something to beat up, you know, like just your own personal punching bag, even if it's yourself, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's good for people to have an outlet, whether it's art or running or, you know, football or whatever. But I think people need to have some sort of a passion or something that keeps them going forward, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Any last words on the topic of skateboarding?
I don't know, man. I love skateboarding. It's hard to say, man. Just get out there and do it.
Cool,
Enjoy it.
cool, cool, cool. How do people
Take
find
life
you?
as a blessing, and yeah. What's that?
So how do people find you? What's your Instagram name again?
It's at Big Arns, but it's B number one G underscore Arns. A
Cool,
little
cool,
bit of a tongue twister.
cool, 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 man. Well, thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts and feedback and ideas on the topic of skateboarding, man. I really, really appreciate this.
No, hey, Chris, anytime, man. I'm down. I'm sorry that we couldn't have done this in person with a beer, you know.
Me
Next
too.
time, hopefully, you know, when the spring comes around and we don't have the snow outside, then let's make it pop.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. And anything you wish you could turn back time and change?
I don't know, man. It's not, it's against the rules, I guess. You know, I don't know. I think that people just need to kind of see the blessings in everything that's happened and kind of learn from them and just move forward. That's all you can really do.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't
all.
drive a car looking in the rear view, you know?
Hmm. I like that. I like that. You can't drive a car looking in the rear view. You got to keep looking forward.
Yeah, I mean, you can glimpse in the rear view, but if you're staring in it, you're gonna crash. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Motivational words. I like that. Honestly, that's deep for sure.
yeah. Oh yeah, Chris.
Cool. I'm gonna stop recording now. Hold on a second.